The following program contains the opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, coming to your cordless, everybody. It's nice to be back. It's Monday night, June 17th, 2024. It's 11 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States, 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Sydney, Australia. And here where I'm sitting in Elon Omar's district in Northeast Minneapolis, it's 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I am Jim Peters. Welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night. The first one in a couple weeks. This is episode 125, if you're keeping score at home. I want to thank you folks for tuning in. I've been gone. I had surgery 2 weeks ago tonight. 2 weeks ago today, I had hip replacement surgery. I want to thank. It went flawlessly. I want to thank the folks, Dr. Andrew Arthur, and the folks at Twin Cities Orthopedic for treating me really well. My recovery has went pretty much as well as could be expected. Although yesterday was basically the first day I could walk unassisted. I had a walker for about 10 days, and I'm using a cane for a few days. So I thought, well, I'm going to get a lot done. I'm not going to be on the air for a couple of weeks, but I can book a bunch of guests. Now I didn't do a goddamn thing. No work was accomplished whatsoever. Actually, that's not really true. So we got a couple of things going on here tonight. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen we have a ticker there, and I replaced the banner with our call-in information with the ticker, same information, but it takes a lot less of the screen. And I'm constantly having to move it around or can it because of guests. It's in the way and that sort of thing. So I'm thinking this might be a lot better. We got a new lighting setup, and we got a new sound mixer, our third one, and it's fantastic. It's just terrific. I tested it last night, ran some tests. It's working terrific. We're lucky people here, broadcasting to you in your homes, in your cars, on your phone, wherever you are. Uh, okay, so what we got going on? So here's the deal. Because I'm having my follow-up surgery follow-up appointment on Wednesday, and I'm going to get a clear bill of health. This week we got a kind of an abbreviated schedule once again. Tonight and Wednesday we're doing shows. We're not doing shows on Tuesday and Thursday. Next Monday we're back to full force, 4 days a week. Our guest tonight, Don Zero, intelligence operative, lover of women, my good friend. So we're just going to chew the fat about stuff that happened the last couple weeks. We're taking tomorrow night off. Wednesday, the dynamic duo make their monthly appearance as Jennifer Oliver O'Connell from RedState.com and Jeff Meyer from Conk.com. They're going to be on Wednesday. Then we're taking Thursday off. On Monday, Michael Harrison, the publisher of Talkers Magazine, is coming on. He's on a it's not a book tour. I guess you call it. It's a video music tour. He's a member of the band Gun Hill Road. We played their videos in the past. They have a new video out called Artificial Intelligence. That's the name of the song, and that's what he's going to be talking about. The perils of artificial intelligence. So he's coming on Monday. Beyond that, I have no guest book so far, but we'll figure that out. So anyway, we're back to our regular 4-day week schedule. I expect for the rest of the summer through Labor Day, with the exception of July 4th, which is a Thursday, which we will take off. I might take a couple days off the first week of August. Other than that, we will probably be on the entire time. So there you go. That's what you want to know, isn't it? Now you can call in. I used to point down to the. I'm going to point at that thing. It's moving. You see that? Watch it move. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, Simple things for simple minds. Anyway, yeah. So the information that says you can call us with your video camera. First, we're the first talk show in America that lets you call in with your webcam by going to jimandnight.com/call. It's a little unintuitive or counterintuitive. You go to a web page. There's a giant big blue button at the top of the web page. You click the button, and you're in our queue, or you basically go to a preview screen, get to check your camera mic, and then you push join at the bottom of the screen, and you're in our queue. It's really simple. It's even simpler than making a FaceTime call. And also, you can call us audio only on your phone, 563-999-3435. There's no picture there, duh. Now, we've been running the webcam phone calls since we started on July 31st. And what I've noticed, I came to the realization that there's a lot of people who don't want to call in because they don't want their face on the screen. Now, there is a way you can call in with your webcam and mute the webcam. You can do that. But since we got the audio phone call telephone number now, we're not doing that. I don't bother to explain how to do it. So if you don't want your face on the screen and just want to talk, you can call in 563-999-3435. That's through our friends at Blog Talk Radio, where we're broadcasting right now. And then you can also text us live in real time, 408-458-5088. I get those texts all over here. I mentioned this just before we went off there a couple weeks ago. It appears that our broadcast provider is coming up with a scheme to consolidate all of the chat screens from all our various places where we're broadcasting and put them all in one place. So in other words, it'd be I could see it as one stream. You wouldn't, but I could see the whole thing as one giant stream. And if they do that, we might can the text messages, but we'll see. Stuff to be figured out. Technology, man, it's ruining our lives. Yeah. So that's what we got going on tonight. Don will be calling in a few minutes. I have to tell you, I spent 2 weeks not doing this, not doing anything, basically just sitting. I found it kind of unusual. I could actually kind of feel myself healing when I was resting, and that when I mean resting, I mean sleeping. Oh man, I've gotten so much sleep; it's unbelievable. And I have to tell you, tonight and Wednesday, we might cut these shows a little short because I'm not energy-wise, I'm not quite up to 100%. Also, my brain is mush. I admit it. I'm trying to keep up with the news. Oh God, who cares? I don't know if you saw the show description on Rumble, but the title is "Anything Happened While We Were Gone?" Oh yeah, I'll talk about stuff right now. But first, okay, so Don is here. So we're going to do, here's our sponsor. This is Calling News at conk.com. It's a news aggregator. It's the best news aggregator on the internet. I'm not kidding. You got to check it out. It's completely free. You don't have to register. None of that crap. It's basically a one-page website. You go to conk.com, and you check this out. 75 different news sources. Gathers news every 3 hours automatically. It's all run by algorithms and all that server crap. So there's an interesting story on here too, and I'm not going to scroll this down because I just end up screwing the whole thing up. But they're talking. We'll mention talking about this with Don in a couple of minutes here. Supposedly, there's still people 100% fed up is from reporting this. They've been talking about this for like weeks. They're still saying that they think that at the Democratic National Convention, Joe Biden will step down for re-election. They're still saying that, and they've talked to numerous people. Also, they're in touch with the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is reporting this too. That's the Daily Mail from Britain. Anyway, you can see all that stuff here at conk.com. You come at 10 o'clock in the morning, for example. There's about there's probably a couple hundred news stories on the front page here. You can spend 2-3 hours reading through this, assuming you click through. And when you do click through, you don't get any ads, no interstitial pages, none of that. You go directly to the articles. The headlines on Conk are the headlines from the articles, and the photos are from the articles. So You get a great preview of what you're going to see. It's the closest thing online to what I would consider a traditional newspaper that you'll ever find. So I use this constantly. I can't tell you. It's like I said, it's completely free. They run some ads, but it's free, and you can't go wrong with this. If you haven't checked this out already, check it out. It's at conk.com, conk.com. Okay, so Don's here. We're going to put him on. I'm going to run 12 seconds of bumper music. You'll love it. It's fantastic. Don Zoro, my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Interesting question. How am I doing? Don Zoro is officially sick of all this crap.
Well, I don't blame you, but go ahead. Elaborate.
I for a cunning fox of a superhero, I am generally very positive. As I go around saving people mostly from themselves, I try to think of the good in things. And perhaps it is the effect of the internet, because we know the internet is a foul hive of scum and villainy. For the good that seeing the occasional cat video will do our souls, there is a set of windows that show us really some of the worst parts of who we are as people. So I don't mean to start all dark.
No, it's okay.
What the hell? I'm dressed in black, so I might as well.
That's right. You are. Go ahead.
So the bottom line is that the more I read and the more that I see this incredible denial that people who support this very sad, frail shell of a man who is occupying the greatest seat on the planet, and they continue to just say against their nature, knowing that everyone knows that they're lying through their teeth. The more they continue to say, this guy's the best thing in the world, this economy is better than it's ever been, our borders are secure, every kind of lie that you can imagine, and they do their best to feel good at it. Well, I'm sick of seeing it. I rejoice with every single crack in the armor that I see. I see that the platforms upon which they stand are falling apart with larger bits by each increasing bit. And you say that there are those that really truly believe that this man is not going to run. Okay. I am just about at the precipice of actually believing that, with some of the more recent video that I've seen of him wandering about like Tim Conway in an old Carol Burnett skit.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally is the living embodiment of the frail old man that would show up in the Carol Burnett show in the person of Tim Conway. And it's not a joke. Not a joke.
Yeah.
I love when he says that. Not a joke. Everything else I say is a joke, but this is not a joke.
Right.
So, fine. Let's believe that he's going to announce that he's not going to run. Okay. You often posit that Mr. Newsom from California will be the guy. So what exactly does that do? Gives us a young, handsome, fresh face? Okay, fine. After that wears off, because when is the convention? July?
Theirs is August.
This is August, so it's later. That means that you will have August, October, so 2.5 months basically to convince the world that this guy who has ruined a state is somehow better than the living corpse that is currently leading the country, as opposed to our favorite convicted felon who was praised by the Black community for actually going into the hood, as he did in the Bronx, in New York, as he probably would anywhere else, to plaudits and cheers. What I'm saying is, since we know somehow they have the good sense not to go with Kamala, because that would just be, although the writers at Saturday Night Live would probably love that more than anything else. Since they're not going to go with Kamala and they do go with Newsom, then when you compare his track record to Trump's track record, why don't they just say, as of right now, in the middle of June, just say, you know what, GOP, fine, you got this one, because we got nothing. We got nothing.
I almost get the impression that's actually what they're doing. I think they're almost throwing in the towel.
It's a sense of resignation, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Because really, if the walking corpse does not run, there is literally no one that has stayed with the Democrat Party. If, for example, had Tulsi Gabbard, just thrown a little bit of a fit or something a couple of years ago and just said, "Oh, you Democrats, what the hell are you doing? But I'm still going to stay a loyal Democrat," and all that. Had she chosen to do that, then I would say, okay, they might throw Tulsi in, and this would be a real matchup. But she has no interest in running against Trump.
But there's another thing too, Don, and that is you and I think that. You think, oh my God, if you ran Tulsi, you actually have a formidable competitor. They would never run Tulsi. They can't stand her.
Of course not. No, that's it. That's it exactly.
That's exactly their problem. Is their force-fed ideology. They can't get their mind around it. So everything they basically propose turns to crap.
Right.
And like somebody, I think it was David Strom, our friend at Hot Air, he wrote a piece that said, if they wanted to actually win the election, they could have just the Democrats. They do everything except actually doing a good job.
They do everything but do a good job.
Yeah,
that's quotable, and that's a poster waiting to be.
It is, isn't it? But it's true.
U.S. Democrats, they do everything but a good job.
That's right.
I like that.
He's a brilliant guy, man. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
he also wrote a piece today too about talking about that commercial you were talking about the fact that they're spending $50 million to run this commercial about Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and Strom says, well, so
yes, exactly.
And who doesn't know that at this point? You need to spend $50 million?
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
You don't.
I don't know who's running things over there at the DNC, but must be a bunch of junior high schoolers.
Yes, they seem to be.
Who somehow think they've got it figured out. I just when they mentioned, did you catch this moron? Which senator is it, or congressman that said guilty 34 times, and that was his whole speech. He just said guilty 34. What's his name?
Schiff.
Adam Schiff.
Yeah, he said the word guilty 34 times.
I mean, they are just somehow thinking that this is going to have an effect on people, and the people who don't like Donald Trump don't like him. They're not going to like him any more or less. And even if they did, it wouldn't make a difference to the one vote that each of them has, presumably one vote. I mean, we never know what Democrats are doing. And the Republicans, just with each pronouncement of guilty, just it's like the Hydra. The heads just keep multiplying. you know.
Yeah.
So I really, man, of all the game plans that I have ever seen, the Democrats who used to be, you could always count on them to be above anything else, united. They are no longer united. They are the new Republicans, and the
Yeah, that's right.
Republicans are the new Democrats.
Yes.
The Republicans have said, you know, we're fine. We're going to do this whole early voting thing too. We're going to do that. We're going to use the damn machines. We are
Yeah.
going out. What they are betting on is beating the Democrats at their own game.
Yeah. And so isn't it amazing that you and I are both old enough to have lived through this? I mean, who would ever think this would happen?
No, well, I mean, sadly, I never thought that we would return to the 1960s again in terms of race relations. You know, that was a very rough time that you remember. I mean, it was ugly.
Yes,
There's
it
a
was.
lot of ugliness on the part of the people who were being prejudiced against, and also the people who did the prejudicing. So,
But you and I have talked about this before. I mean, it's like we got to the point where basically by roughly, let's say 2010, the race problem in America was almost over.
yeah,
And they raised this, they recreated it because they have nothing else to work on.
right,
You know,
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So and now I get the impression that the public is figuring out that grift too. You know.
Oh yeah. See, no. The chinks in the armor, the cracks in the armor, the cracks in the lava, whatever metaphor helps, it are just growing larger and larger. I have said it. Everybody's fed up. Nobody can take this crap any longer. We hate the fact that it's all going to last for another 3.5 months or so, and people just cannot wait to get this over. We're fighting voter exhaustion, and we haven't even started the campaigns yet for real, except for Trump.
You did touch on something though that is kind of fascinating, and that is with all the bullshit that's happening, under normal circumstances, Trump should be like 20 points ahead. It bears witness to how many people don't like him that he's only a couple points ahead right now. It really does.
Yeah. But I think this is going to be the classic case of grousing until they get in that booth.
Right.
And they go, oh my God, I can't do another. They'll either write somebody in or they'll vote for Trump, but I don't think they're going to vote for Biden.
No.
It would be the ultimate act. Voting for Biden now is the ultimate act of spite. That's all it is, Jim. At this point, all it is spite, because there's nothing positive about this guy. Nothing. His social agendas, his fiscal agendas, his international savvy none of this is existent. It's all non-existent.
Yeah, I also would say too that although his problems with age are now extremely palpable, it doesn't matter. He's incompetent anyway. If he had been president at 50, it would have been just as bad.
Yeah. How much older is he than Dr. Biden?
That I don't know. I don't know how old she is.
Well, now she was their babysitter, right? At some point, isn't that how they first knew each other? I
don't really know about this. I do know this, and that is her. Their story. Once again, his wonderful life stories are that they met they were set up on a blind date, but her ex-husband says no, they had an affair the entire time that.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that for a second.
And apparently there's proof, because apparently she got pulled over for speeding and got a ticket driving Biden's car. So yeah, this has been buried now, but I mean, he's been trying to tell this to people for years. No one's basically been listening because everyone I don't even understand this. Okay, so this thing with Hunter Biden, this trial. All right, so fine. Okay, you got caught. You could have done a plea deal. You didn't. it's plainly obvious you actually did the deed. You were a drug addict and you checked the form. Now, I could make an argument that you shouldn't get 25 years in prison for checking the blocks in a form,
Right.
but the fact is you did break the law. It's like,
Right.
whatever it is,
Well,
6
this is
months in
Clinton.
jail or,
Yeah.
whatever the hell.
Right.
Now he's talking about, I don't know if you saw this, it's kind of buried in the news today. They refiled and then quickly rescinded a request for a new trial. They want to do it over again. Like, what the hell? You're so obviously guilty.
Are you serious?
Really? Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah. I don't know. It was like within an hour they filed it and then they took it back for no one knows why.
This is what happens when you go from exuding confidence to just complete desperation.
Yeah, or delusion.
That's what it is. And I got to say the Democrats, even when Hillary was running, they were united and they didn't seem particularly desperate. This has been nothing but desperation for the last bunch of years now. At this point, it's a few years because they just can't see this guy. Is there any word on what exactly it is that this guy takes before he does speeches and
no one seems to know.
Nobody seems to know.
The biggest theory I've heard is Adderall, but I don't know. That's
that'll give you a little pop and it'll last
right.
about an hour and a half, which is usually what he needs.
I don't know if usually for him it's about 45 minutes. He gets about a 45-minute pop and then he starts to go downhill. So this thing, now that you brought this up, Don, this thing on 100% Fed Up, and they're getting it from the Daily Mail in England. And I don't know why the Daily Mail seems to be so good at reporting on American politics. But they are. What the hell is that all about, too?
I've wondered that. This is like, okay, you want to find out what's going on stateside? Check out the Daily Mail.
Isn't that nuts? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny. But at any rate, they're reporting that there's a whole plan set up that if Joe does really bad in this first debate, I'm still not even convinced it's going to happen. It's supposed to be a week from Thursday. I don't know. I still think he might find some way to get out of it. But that if he does, they put together supposedly Bill Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama will approach Biden as a team and tell him, you got to drop out. Sorry, it's done.
I mean, it's a cool theory. I'd love to see. Every time you mention these things, I just get these wonderful little pictures in my head of what that would actually look like. Of these people surrounding Biden and just putting a hand on the shoulder and say, now, see over this, the door's over there. Just keep walking towards the door. And then he starts. But then he starts going the wrong way. No, Joe, come on, Joe. No, we're trying to get you through this door here. Come on.
God.
I mean, it's so. I like I say, it's a wonderful theory. I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't either. Actually,
in for a penny, in for a pound.
Right.
That's basically what I'm seeing. I think Biden's going to go through the whole thing, because since he knows he's going to lose, he's got all of his little out the door jabs ready. He's just going to say he's going to be. I'm sure that there's in Greek tragedies there's some sort of Cassandra sort of look like, I warned you. I warned you. Yeah. Don't forget that I warned you.
I have fun of this, Don, and you and I are both music lovers. From an operatic standpoint, Biden is a very, very tragic figure. It's like.
Yes,
he's stupid. Well, he's unaware. He doesn't understand. No self-awareness. He gets on all.
But the thing is that in like Shakespeare and in an opera and all that stuff, usually there is some point where that character, that tragic character, has had some really high point in his life. What the hell is Joe's high point? I mean, you can't even say, King Lear. He was just like, okay, well, at one point he was this steadfast, but and then just descended into the madness of old age. But no, Joe's been old for the last 40 years,
That's true.
and stumbling. And I can remember when I first started getting into politics about, I don't know, about 30 years ago, and listening to Hugh Hewitt talk about him. This is 30 years ago, and just saying, now he's a walking gaff machine. He's a walking gaff machine. He's not going to be able to hold a cogent thought. And I said, boy, this guy's more messed up than I thought he was. Back in the days when I was a Democrat, I thought he was just a complete genius on the when he was in charge of Anita Hill. Remember
Yeah.
that whole thing? And he was the presiding senator.
I did too, Don.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
I
embarrassed
just
to
said, boy,
say it,
this
but
guy's
yeah.
really, but yeah, this guy's holding it together. He's watching for this and that. And then I just realized, no, the whole thing was this incredible facade of someone who knows to speak well. It's yeah. The reason that I started off with this whole, I'm just tired of this garbage business was the border. The border has me very, very concerned, very bummed out. Remember how the Democrats were denying? I forgot what label they were putting on it, but they were saying that they're accusing the Republicans of some sort of a conspiracy deal, that the Democrats were planning this big reset. What were they calling it? Having to do with the Democrats clearly bringing in illegals so that they could set up
Are
votes
you
and all
talking
that stuff.
about the Great Replacement?
The Great Replacement. Thank you.
Yeah.
I kept thinking of the Great Reset, but it was a Great Replacement.
Yeah.
And it can't be any more obvious that that's what they've been doing. It is undeniable at this point. Look at all the laws that are being put in place. So it started with, well, we should let them vote in local elections, and now
Yeah.
look at California. California is proposing that these people be allowed, the dreamers and all that stuff, even if they came in illegally, that they be allowed to be police officers now.
Right.
Gee, I wonder where their sympathies are going to lie.
Yeah. No,
Oh my goodness. That's what I have to say, more than I think more about than any other political issue, is the illegals. That just scares the absolute hell out of me.
and you're right. It's what they've done is criminal. And now, I mean, there's about 11 or 12 states where you can vote if you get a driver's license, and now you don't have to be a citizen to get a driver's
Right.
license.
The chipping away. See,
I
we're
know.
chipping away bit
That's
by
right.
bit by bit, and
then-
this is gonna. Yeah.
Then they say, how dare you complain about that? That's racist. I'm tired of that too.
Yeah.
Here's my counter to that. No, I'm not racist. You're a moron. Because I know one thing about liberals, and that is they hate being called stupid. It's their Achilles heel. They can't stand it.
No, because that's where they put all the money in the bank, isn't it? On saying that the GOP is full of a bunch of knuckle dragging cretinous idiots.
Right. Yahoos.
So so once it's revealed how much they've been projecting this whole time about the way that they handle looking at life, and oh my goodness, and then we're in the middle of one of the grandest spectacles in American life now, which is Pride Month, and you can't speak out against the things about Pride Month that are just awkwardly stupid, and then say, well, look, I don't have a problem with gays, but some of these things that we see. Somebody brought up a great question. He said, so the drag queens love to go to the schools and have drag queen hour.
Yeah, sure.
Why don't they ever do that at old age homes?
I don't, I don't know. I don't know the answer to
I
that
think
question.
you do. I think you do know. I'm just picturing, this Dame Edna walking into an old age home to read the latest. I don't know what you would read to a bunch of seniors, but Lady Chatterley's Lover or something. I have no idea, but I just think, oh, Martha, what in the hell was that? Now, that's the ugliest woman I ever seen. You know, why's she reading to us? I can't. What? Wait, she sounds kind of like a snake when she talks. Lots of. I mean,
Oh,
God.
Jesus Christ. Oh my
So,
God.
so yeah, so I'll be a little more convinced when they start going to old age homes and reading.
Well, I don't know if you know quite as many gay people as I do, but I know there's been quite a few gay people over the years who've been kind of quietly appalled about Pride Month too, especially
Yeah.
like the Pride Parade. A lot of people think it's a travesty.
Let me ask you this. I have heard that now between all of the gay dedicated days, is it true that we're up to like 135 days in the calendar that
Yes,
have something
it,
to do?
it
It
is.
is true, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, right. It's
Well,
unbelievable. First of all, they get a whole month. Now, what's that about? Like who gets the
uh,
black people get a month? And what was it? Morton Free. Oh no, not God, the actor. Oh, what's uh,
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman? Yeah, he said, "Well, yeah, we got a month. They gave us the shortest month on the calendar." He's,
Yeah, that's
he's
very
right.
funny.
But yeah,
That's
but
very
but
funny.
seriously, why do they need a month? What's wrong with a week? And also, I
I
remember when I worked for the gay organization 25 years ago, we even though it was a month then, we only celebrated for a week. I
Yeah,
still remember
well,
that.
it's because,
Okay.
you got tired of it after a while.
Yeah,
What's like,
that's
what
right.
what are you gonna say after a while?
I know. I love you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. "Hey, love you, man. But, nah, I'm
Oh
not a
God.
hugger. It's okay. I'm not a
Oh God Almighty.
hugger." Yeah, what else you got? What's going on these days?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
yeah,
Minneapolis is the happiest place on earth, isn't it?
it is. That's
Have you
right.
read that with this? No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
read this, right?
I did read that. That's
So
right.
were they just going back to the old definition of happy, and they meant to say we're the gayest place on
I
earth?
don't know.
'Cause that's really pretty much it. Oh, wait, did somebody say happy? Ah, shit, I meant to say gay. Okay, now I can go with happiest place, man. I don't know. The internet kind of makes me just more paranoid than I've ever been.
I don't know
You
if I
know,
ever asked you this. Do you imbibe a lot on social media? Are you?
I have to say, yeah, I do keep my pulse on it. Let's see, but what mostly Twitter, where people can check out what I say, Don Zorro there. But I mean, I'm not too much. I have Facebook. I'm on Facebook, and that's that's pretty much it. You know, but I have to say, the best thing about Twitter is that when somebody does go on and say something just phenomenally stupid, the comments are just comedy gold.
Yes.
Some of the funniest stuff. People are so damn creative. I just get jealous. And I said,
Yeah.
why the hell didn't I think of that at
Yeah.
first?
And the thing is, you start to realize that the only difference between comedy writers and normal people is that comedy writers pursued it as a career. Otherwise, it's pretty much the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
those people work really hard, man. Do you know any comedians?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Yeah, see, I've met a few, and it's amazing. These guys, it's a real job. That's why I don't like hecklers.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like hecklers because, thank goodness I don't know if anybody heckles you while you're working besides me.
No.
But nobody else has to deal with that. So I think George Carlin said it best once, and exactly that way. Some drunk hecklers started saying so, and he laid this guy out something fierce. just say, listen, man, I'm up here doing my job. I don't come bothering you when you're in the middle of sorting mail over at the post office.
Well, you
So,
must not have seen this, but apparently this was in the news today, last night or this weekend. Jerry
okay.
Seinfeld just eviscerated a heckler at some stand-up show he's doing.
Oh,
And of course
excellent.
that was about freeing Palestine.
Of
Yeah,
course. What
of
else?
course it was. And
Of course it
Seinfeld
was.
says, "Yeah, well, I'm sure you've solved the problem by coming here and yelling at me."
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just made it a whole lot
we
better. That's another thing that I can't make any sense out of.
oh,
Winning friends and influencing people. This is the book these folks have to read.
I know, and I think Queers for Palestine will be a joke on this program for like 3 years. I
Oh,
can't.
let's hope so. Let's hope so.
What are they thinking? It's like,
No.
they're not, apparently.
Well,
And I actually put this on my show notes. Speaking of that, so tell me, Don, why is we have gotten so freaking stupid? I mean, it's like people are constantly doing really stupid stuff, and my impression is they're getting away with it because they know they can.
yeah, see, part of it is that you have to sift through what is truly stupid and what is being done for clicks, and that's part of the reason that I check out stuff on the internet, is that I want to get a little better at discerning the things that are truly stupid and people that are just putting on an act because they need that kind of attention. And this is a big part of it, is the absolute need for attention that people have because they feel that the internet is so important, when it's actually not. So it's a little bit of a circular kind of a vicious circle. They get on the internet because they think it's important, and then you get the people that are truly there we go. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the Zorro Show.
Hold on, just a second. There we go. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to be on the left. No, but being able to discern between the stuff. I'll tell you what really has bothered me also is, speaking of the truly stupid and combining that with the clicks, are these morons that have taken pranks to a level to which it was never ever intended.
Yeah.
Doing just things that are not even funny. They're just stupid. For example, you're going down an elevator with your wife or girlfriend, whatever, and then the pranker, who is being filmed by somebody else, goes over and touches the the female in some way. And I saw a guy get so pissed that he grabbed the pranker and literally pulled him across to the other escalator. And then the guy's going, "It's a joke, it's a prank, it's a prank, it's a prank," as though that were going to save them. And in some cases, for whatever reason, it does. And I'm saying, no, I don't give a damn about your prank. I said, I am going to pound you into
Right.
jelly. Remember the old Beetle Bailey comics? Whenever Sarge would get pissed off,
Yeah.
Beetle Bailey would wind up as this heap of nothing on the floor.
Right.
And that's what I want to happen to each one of these guys. I'm telling you something.
Doesn't that kind of get back to what I was talking about, though, about the fact that a lot of people do this because partly because they know there's not going to be any consequences?
Well, but exactly. You're exactly right. And that's why I brought that up, because they somehow, the excuse of it's a prank, it absolves them of the stupidity that they got into it. And not in my mind. No. You play the prank game with me and you're going to wind up with a sword through your belly, because that's what Zorro do.
So I saw this little piece of info a few days ago. You're talking about people want attention. Supposedly, the primary cause of death at the Grand Canyon right now is people. Yes,
No.
yes. People attempting to take selfies and falling in.
Oh God, I've
That's the
actually
plan.
seen some stuff like that, and it's God.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. It really is. It that important
Yeah,
that you're in the okay. So think of the ridiculousness of that kind of thinking. What is really important is to rather than just take a picture of this natural beauty, is to show that you're in that,
yeah,
obscuring whatever part of the natural beauty
right.
that you could be.
Yeah,
It's like having your family at a table while you're scrolling through pictures of your family on the phone.
yeah.
It's
No,
like,
I know.
wait a minute, the real thing's right there. No, I people who have look, you're right. People have gotten stupid. They really have gotten stupid.
So
So, and there's not much we can do about it.
I don't know if you saw this, but the Washington Post right now is bleeding money hand over fist. They lost $77 million last year, and their readership has dropped 50%. So they got in a new publisher, a new CEO, and he wants to make some changes. And the staff there is so immune to making the changes that they ran a hit piece on their own CEO and their own newspaper. No freaking lie.
You know where this started? This started with this chick at the Times. What was the story about? It was a few years ago. This woman who got fired from the Times for just being utterly incompetent, and she either tried to sue the Times or something for them getting rid of her, and she was clearly just doing a bad job. Well, there's doing a bad job is not a reason to fire anybody. This is why you're
Apparently
never going to
not.
get rid of me.
That's right. Apparently not.
Yeah. No,
But
no, there's been a paradigm shift in logic. There is no more logic.
do you think this is a liberal thing?
They're the ones who started it.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones who started it. And let me tell you, it sits on my mouth like poison whenever conservatives do things that kind of show that they're not that they're as uneducated as the liberals. For example, a few years ago, somebody went around asking people what they thought about the fact that the schools were teaching Arabic numbers and Arabic numerals, and people going, "Well, I'm not in favor." It's like, oh my God. We learned in second grade that those are Arabic numerals. This is like, and that people don't know that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair because you do. I certainly wouldn't have known that unless my second grade teacher, Mrs. Wilson, said, and these numbers that we use are known as Arabic numbers. And then that was back in the day where, and Arabia, that's back there where all the sand is, and that's
Yeah,
as much as
right.
we understood about it. But I mean, just little things like that. I guess maybe I shouldn't be too hard on it because nobody is teaching simple things and important bits
Yeah,
of knowledge like
but
that, are they?
that's the thing. I could counter and say maybe you should. I'm just watching. This is a local news story on a local television station here in town. We're both in Minneapolis, and they're talking about St. Paul Schools is running something called culturally inclusive teaching. And I'm watching this and thinking, no, just teach the fucking math.
Whose culture? How
Yeah.
many cultures?
Oh, all
How many
sorts.
cultures are we going to have to be hip to now?
I don't know.
You
I don't
know?
know. All 192 countries. I have no idea. It's like,
Plus, don't forget the indigenous. You got to know that
oh,
too.
that's right. That's right.
We're
I'm
all going
sorry.
to take a little field trip to Lake Snackadakaba and go there
So,
and hug trees. I don't know.
so, and speaking of that, now we should point this out
I
to
would
people.
hug trees if it weren't for the ants. Trees need a
All right.
little hug.
Okay, Don. So here in Minneapolis, they renamed. We had we're the city of lakes. There's all sorts of lakes within
That's
the
right.
city limits, right? Big, huge lake, Lake Calhoun. Well, they decided that John Calhoun, the guy who the lake is named after, who actually has nothing to do with town. He was a Civil War hero or something like that.
Right.
But he had slaves, so they decided they're going to rename the lake. Okay, all right. Now, All right, I'm fine. Okay. So they renamed the lake. They decided they pulled out the original indigenous name for the lake, which is Bide Makasa. And I'm thinking, okay, now I'm looking at this from a marketing standpoint. If you got tourists in town and you see that on a map, my
Right.
first reaction is, what the fuck is that? They could have even
Well,
named it Lake Makasa. They could have done
listen,
that, you know?
listen. Let's just the accidental sound of bidet to start
Yeah,
off on
well,
lake.
that's right.
It's the
I
bidet lake. So
know.
now my little picture that I've got here, all these women flocking to the lake. Oh, that's where we're supposed to go and take care of business. So that's the first. So I'm going to stay with Snackadakaba because I just can't.
Oh God!
Bidet Lake. Oh my goodness!
Wait.
What happened to the water? Oh my God! The fish are dead.
Nobody thought of this. What the hell? I mean,
I did.
yeah, I did too. I did too. It's like, what? I mean, would you have to be on the city council to be genius? I don't know. I don't understand. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
God Almighty.
Our city council. So, what's his name? The mayor of Minneapolis, Fry,
Yeah. Somebody called
shows up.
Mom,
Actually,
Mayor
Mayor
Mom
Mom
Pants.
Mayor Mom Pants. I give him credit just for having the sheer chutzpah to show up at the memorial for Jamal Mitchell, the officer who was murdered in that situation that happened a couple of weeks ago. And he got up there and gave a speech, but I noticed he wasn't kneeling at the casket crying bitter tears the way he did for Floyd. You know what that that made me so angry to see him. He had to manufacture those tears. I'm sorry. This was absolute garbage. Meanwhile, we've got two cops, Enstrom and I forgot the other one, starts with an R. Was it Rice or something like that? And then the EMS officer from all these guys from Burnsville that were killed, Finstrom, and now Jamal Mitchell. I tell you, I'm my hand is like bruised from shaking so many cops' hands that I have seen, and I'm just saying, I'm just really sorry how rough it's been. I went over to that art fair, the one over by the Stone Bridge, that Stone Arch Bridge, which actually was pretty good. I actually wound up buying something, but I saw a couple of cops there, and they were like what they call park officers, and I shook their hands and just said, you guys have been going through a really rough time, and I'm sorry. And I just want to let you know, I'm with you. And God, these guys are always so surprised and so sincerely grateful when somebody takes the time to just say, thank you, or I'm sorry, or I'm with you, something like that. And there's never going to be a day when I'm not doing that. I'll tell you. If I see, a few cops sitting at what happened once, something was nice. I was at a restaurant and I saw a bunch of cops that were sitting at the table, and I quietly went to the waitress and I said, listen, I want to buy those guys a meal. She said, somebody already beat you to it.
Oh, really?
And I was happy. To hear that, I was glad that people still do that sort of thing,
Yeah, I don't understand at this point why anybody would want to do that job. It's like,
no. What really? Your sense of civic pride and duty would have to be off the charts to want to be a cop anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Mayberry, North Carolina is like these days. I don't know how Barney Fife would be holding the job, but I'm sure Otis would have a bigger attitude.
Yeah.
Protests in front of Floyd the Barber,
I just
Howard's
saw.
probably
I just,
Howard's probably gay. We knew that. So,
I just saw a meme based on that recently, where Opie's saying something about like Dad, why do these drag queens read Story Hour at school, and Sheriff Taylor says, Opie, that's why we live in Mayberry.
yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. What
Hey,
else you got? What's on the what do you call it? The rundown?
yeah. I'll tell you, well, okay, what else do I have?
Not that I'll know anything about it, but I can make up shit very quickly.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're very good at that. You're very good at thinking on your feet.
Oddly enough, Mrs. Zorro thinks the
Oh,
same thing.
I got to mention that we have to talk about this, Don. So,
Okay.
and this segues really well into that, just what I just said, and that is in Los Angeles, specifically West Hollywood, they they took down. This is unbelievable. This is talk about stupid shit. They took down all the U-turn signs in
Yes.
the entire city because they're homophobic.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Shit.
Zorro will save the day.
Okay, thank you.
I heard about this. So the reason originally that they took the U-turn signs, that they put the no U-turn signs up, was because those streets in that area were cruising areas. This is where gay guys would go to pick up other gay guys and then go off in a car or whatever and do whatever they were going to do. So the city mothers and fathers and the cops especially wanted to just like, you need to put stops to this. All these cars slowly going up looking for fresh meat on the corners. And so they wanted to make it straight through so people couldn't go back and forth and back and forth. So they put the no U-turn sign, so you just had to go straight through. And they were fairly successful at keeping the traffic flowing and not blocking. And so the gay community that liked being able to go get some free sex said, no, you got to get rid of these no U-turn signs. People need to be able to free. If you don't, it's homophobic. So there you go. The ultimate is saying that a situation is something that it really isn't. or them just denying the fact that what they're doing is trying to do away with aberrant behavior. You want to go and have some action? Fine. Go to a bar. Go do that thing, or have a party. Those guys are good at parties, right?
Oh yeah.
So
you ever hear about Ron White? The comedian. He lived in West Hollywood for a while. He talks about, and I know I live there too. There's bars there that basically there's a party going on 24 hours.
Sure,
it's nonstop. It never ends.
I believe it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So that's the backstory. That's what led to this whole thing. And so basically, it was this community saying, "Hey, you're messing with our fun." That's what it was. You're messing with our fun. So we want our those no U-turn signs taken down. So by God, they got them taken down. And just one
victory
more
for the citizenry.
Yeah, just one more thing for China and Russia and every other nation is just like saying, "Hey, look at these Americans."
I know.
Oh,
I know.
they're so stupid.
I know. Their kids are learning math. Our kids are learning culturally inclusive teaching.
Yes. Well, this whole 2 + 2 = 4 thing, I've always thought that there was
it's
something
racist.
just wrong. But, yeah, of course it's racist. 2 and 2 of what equal 4? Huh? Tell me that.
Hey Don, I'm going to let you go because actually, I mean, I'm kind of, I'm just getting back on the horse here. I knew this was going to happen.
Hey, I meant to ask you, man, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling very good, very good.
Excellent,
I'm good. I walked today for the first time, basically unassisted.
Yay!
So,
Yay! All right.
So,
well, good for you.
I'm sorry.
Doing that and do your, because I'll tell you that's the thing right there.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so all right.
You know,
Hey,
so we're
by the
trying
way, do you know what makes a joke into a dad joke?
no.
When it becomes apparent.
Oh, hey, and Don, I'll write you an email about this later. I'm hoping now that debate's supposedly a week from Thursday. I'm hoping to get the regular gang together for a debate thing, a little discussion afterwards. So I hope you can do
Okay,
that.
afterwards we won't live stream the debate, huh?
Was that?
I said we won't live stream the debate. We'll do it afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do it afterwards, right? No, I don't know. I don't want to do that.
I don't
No.
know if they have more than one debate. We ought to try live streaming one once. I think the reactions ought to be
I know.
could be kind of fun.
I have thought for election night. I've thought about doing a whole like 5-6 hour thing. We'll see. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's.
Listen, I'd come in for a while. Yeah, I think so.
figured you would.
I think
Yeah,
so.
we could. I might be able to pull that off. So, but I can't thank you enough for doing this tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you take care, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Doing that PT.
Well, we'll do. We'll do. Thank you, man.
Take care. Bye.
Don Zero, intelligence operative, lover of women, our good friend. So I didn't mention that, and I should have mentioned that. Yes, Don, the disguise is partly a joke, but not completely because of what he does for a living. He can't reveal his real identity. So that's why that is. So this is part 3, and we're going to do part 3 really quick because seriously, I want to go take a nap. But now this is really, I got some we usually for part 3 we do like UFO news and stuff like that. And I have some interesting UFO news. I don't know if this kind of made the news the last week. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's really odd. So a bunch of professors at Harvard put out a paper, and that's the thing. It's a paper in a peer-reviewed journal, and I'll get to that in a minute. That's actually important, saying that there's a good possibility that the extraterrestrials that are coming to Earth aren't actually coming to Earth, they're already here, that they actually live here. They're either interdimensionally, and I'll get to that in a second, or underground or whatever. They had several theories. But that's the problem with this. This was in a peer-reviewed journal, which usually is like scientific facts or experiments or stuff like that. And it was all complete conjecture. And there's some people don't understand. First of all, they don't understand how this even ran, why it's in the journal. Now, if you've watched this show before, you know that Jazz Shaw has he's from hotair.com. He's a weekend editor. He's also the UFO writer, point man for the entirety of Salem Media. That's a fairly large news conglomerate, and he writes for UFO about UFOs for them. He comes on here regularly. We talk about this. So he's mentioned this in the past that David Grush, the whistleblower that appeared before Congress, 2-3 months ago or whatever, has been very careful. He does not use the term extraterrestrials. He uses the term non-human intelligence. And when someone at the congressional hearing said extraterrestrials, he corrected them. He's been very, very careful not to use that term. Now, there's been a rumor, that's been going around for like the last 6 weeks or something like that, that Grush met with 60 like VIP citizens, very important people from the United States in an apartment in Midtown Manhattan, and explained to them that what he understands is that I have no idea if this is true or not. I'm relating this as part of the story. It may or may not be true, but it bolsters what's going on here. That from what he understands, these quote unquote extraterrestrials actually aren't coming to Earth; they're already here. So now you can say, well, how could that be? Well, here's the deal, and this is one of they had 4 scenarios in this paper, and once again, the paper is in a scientific journal, and there's nothing scientific about this at all. I mean, I stand here and I speculate. I got a friend who watches this show, thinks it's complete bullshit. He makes fun of me of all the speculation I do on this stuff, but I admit I'm speculating. I don't have no idea. Now, peer-reviewed journals aren't for speculation. They're for either stuff that's been established as scientific fact or to demonstrate experiments, one or the other. And this paper made it into this journal, and all it is a bunch of speculative scenarios of how these people, if you want to call them, could already be here. One is the fact that one of the definitions of interdimensionality is that you could be standing right next to another being and not even know they're there, because people use the term frequencies. All these stupid terms get thrown around, and people don't have any clue how to use them or whatever. And that's the thing. I don't even want to go there, but there's supposedly, string theory says our universe is made up of 11 dimensions, and humans can only perceive 4. And the real problem with that is that's genetic to us. We're never going to perceive more than 4 dimensions. Now, we can design equipment, testing stuff that can sense 4 dimensions, but you're never going to see them ever. You're never going to experience them. It's kind of the same. The analogy that I've heard that I think is really good. It's kind of the same as radio waves. We know radio waves exist, but you've never seen them ever. They're all around us. You got your ball games being transmitted and your local TV shows and all this sort of stuff, and your internet connection up to the satellite, and they're all around the earth. And the really interesting thing is, you start to think about it, how many are passing through your body at any moment. No one's ever been harmed by radio waves as far as anyone knows. But the thing is, I'm using that as an example, okay? So it's kind of the same thing. You can't see a radio wave, but you know it exists. So that's kind of the same interdimensionality. It's one analogy to use for that. And then there's another thing that these ETs, or what do you want to call them, they're living underground. That's the thing. If you watch the show The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, that's one of the posits there, is that they live they're next to the how's it pronounced? Archipelago. Oh, I can't pronounce it. The mesa there. And if you're starting, you don't think about this. If you want to hide on planet Earth, a mesa is a fantastic place to do it, because you have 2 ways to enter: sideways and from the top. So I mean, it's like that's terrific if you're them. But at any rate, the real weird thing is people are wondering, why did this even come out? I mean, it's like, and then I get back to the point of Jazz, and I've talked about this before, that the government, I assume, is prepping us, is trying to prep us for information that's really, really weird. So I have no idea I'm passing this on to you. Like I said, David Grush has been quite adamant about the fact that we're not dealing with quote unquote extraterrestrials. That would be people from other planets. So of course, the one it depends how you define this. I mean, you could say these people have come from other planets, but they're living here. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, I just think it's bizarre as hell, the fact that this even came up, and it's from Harvard. And the thing is, if you want people to take you seriously, you stamp Harvard on it, and people will take you seriously. So, I mean, it's a bunch of yahoos, and God knows. I saw a UFO documentary. I've been watching quite a few because I'm basically laid up. I watched one a few nights ago. It was so god awful bad. I mean, and the thing is, it was well produced. That wasn't the problem. The problem is every single person they interviewed on this whole thing was batshit crazy. I mean, you could just tell. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out who produced this, because it was fairly well produced. It wasn't some shoddy production. But I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's like, and they're talking about, the ETs and stuff, I mean, just crazy people. No, but you stamp Harvard on it, and all of a sudden you're legit. So I don't know, it's just, I know I'm leaving you with this tonight. So I will keep you abreast of that situation. I want to thank Don Zorro for joining us tonight. Now we're taking tomorrow night off. Wednesday night, the dynamic duos here, Jeff Meyer from Contact.com and Jennifer Oliver O'Connell from RedState.com, and we will chew the fat with them. Then I'm taking Thursday off again, and then on Monday, Michael Harrison's here from the band Gun Hill Road. He's also the founder and editor of Talkers Magazine. And he's going to be talking about their new music video called Artificial Intelligence. And I know this, I haven't seen the music video yet, but I know they've done several music videos in the past. They did one, I can't remember what song it was for. It might have been the one for World Radio Day, where Michael came on here. He was the point man for the UN on that. The United Nations. Somebody from the United Nations came on this show. Do you believe it? I still don't believe it. But at any rate, they did one music video that was entirely generated by AI. So we're gonna talk about the foibles and dangers of all that, some other stuff too. So that's on Monday. And like I said, I expect now from this point on, from Monday, we will go all through the summer. Maybe we're going to take the July 4th off. And other than that, well, we should have shows 4 nights a week. I want to thank you guys for watching. This went well. I bring Don on because he can pull me through. I know that, it's like I said, I'm just sitting around for 2 weeks. My brain is mush. So considering my brain is mush, this actually went okay. So I'm happy about that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're taking tomorrow night off. We'll see you on Wednesday. Good night, Esperanza. Good night, Uncle Donnie, and good night to you wherever you are. I'm Jim Peters. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.